Okay, good morning, everyone. As you see today, I'm in the class, but since I was thinking it's a session about your questions on projects, might be there's not that much of point because if your friends are in the class and they ask your question, you cannot hear that. Or if they use their Zoom while they are in the class, it might be some echo in the voice. So I think it was better to make it synchronously, although I'm on campus, I'm not at home. Anyway, so today class, I'm going to spend a little bit of time to explain about your project, our plan for the next week, and some extra advanced things that we might do for the people who might have advanced skills and interested to do something further than what we usually do in this class. So by the way, your syllabus is updated, like your TA information is there. And also I've provided more details about your project. So as you see, it has some similarity with your previous analytics programming class, but it's different in certain ways. First of all, this is the analytics programming project, but in the Spark environment or Hadoop ecosystem. So what I mean, basically you need to do an analytical project. It's start from understanding about the background, data preparation, modeling, and evaluation. And similar to other projects, you might is a cyclic one. What I mean, you might you might get a really good results, but you try to improve your result. For example, if it's a prediction, you might look at the accuracy, AUC, sensitivity, specificity, and try to improve them. Maybe you cannot, but you should try it. So go back and forth, changing imputations, maybe feature selections, or encoding, and see what happens. Or also, maybe you can tune your algorithm. In some certain algorithm, like neural network, maybe you can change number of hidden layers and activation function, just trying to have a better performance, but there's no guarantee for it. So you can do in the groups of up to 2 students, but if you increase your group members to 4, you need to some extra thing that I'm strongly recommended to do it anyway. Even if you're 2, I recommend to do it and get a bonus. For groups of 3 and 4, there is no bonus, but still really good things to know. For example, if in the future, either you would in the research area or industry, and you do collaboration for making some analytical platforms or programs. So you usually don't do all the parts, you do in the groups. And for example, you want to, a couple of you focus on the modeling part, some of you will focus in the data preparation or data gathering. You need to share your codes and do a collaboration over some platforms, which is the most famous one is GitHub. So you should do that, and over GitHub you collaborate. Also, you need to perform in at least 2 platforms, AWS, Databricks, Google Cloud, or local installations. So again, you can raise to group of 4, but this is the way that you do project. You need to add these 2 extra steps that I didn't have time to cover it in the class, but it's really they are necessary, very good skills that helps you in future, even in the job market. They are really helpful. As you might see in some of our experiments, we use like SQL in Hadoop ecosystem, sometimes Peak, or as you see, you can use even a Spark R. So at the end, you might use other technologies, but you should gather everything through a notebook. So some part of notebook could be in SQL or R or even Scala or Java, but at the end, it should be consolidated in one notebook. By the way, it's one of your last project in this program, so I expect to be more professional. So not just dumping something as a paper or project. So you need to have some justification why you chose this project, what was your thought process, how you try to improve the project. So as you see, we already passed the first due date, which I extended to the end of this week. So today is October 19th. You can submit by the end of October 23rd, Friday, by midnight, you can extend it. So in your first assignment, I didn't ask all of them. I just asked team members and topic. But at the end, you should provide all of them. So you can spend a good, and you still have 4 or 5 days. So you can add these items to your submission or resubmit it. But anyway, at the end, you should provide all of them. So it depends on you. It's including the extra thing that you can include your previous submission, motivation, introduction to the data, and project scope. So introduction to data and topic, it could be the first part of CRISP-DM standard, which is about business understanding and data understanding. Okay, the second submission would be, you almost have about 1 month from now, which is literature review, and identify the gap in the literature. If you find a really good gap, even you can publish it as a paper. Research questions, significance of study, descriptive statistics, and visualization. I'm going to teach descriptive statistics and visualization in the next session. So, and from Wednesday, you can work in, you have enough knowledge to do all of them. So about literature review. So if you're in group of 2, read at least 5 related papers. If you're a group of 4 or 3, you should read 10 papers. Let me show you how to do that. So you might have access to, some of your papers might be free, but some papers you should pay or have a subscription through an institution like Clark University. So let me go over Google Scholar. Hopefully you see my monitor. So on Google Scholar, I type stock market prediction and I look at the latest publication, like whatever in 220. Some papers are free, like the first one. Let me just open it. You can download and read them. Some of them probably are not free, which I assume most of them. Let's see about this one. Oh, by the way, I'm in the campus right now, so probably I have access to most of the papers, and I can easily download them. But if you can come and sit. It's a synchronous class, but you can sit there. Yeah, today's supposed to be synchronous because I was thinking your friends might ask questions, but if you already came, you can sit in the class. There is no issue. So, okay. So here, probably I can download all of the papers. So you can use Clark VPN or go to the Clark University library for the papers that you cannot download. Or even sometimes there is some journals that even Clark doesn't have, doesn't register for that. So for those papers, you can even still contact university through the ILLiad or Intel Library loan system. So you send the paper information, and there is a link that you can register for that. So Clark University would get it from other sister universities, and they send you a link to download the PDF. Let me just Google right now. ILLiad Interlibrary Clark University. Yeah. So library loan services. So you can just Google it and come to this page and read it. So basically here you can provide the information. I don't go over it now, but you ask university to find it from another university or the libraries that are colleague, and they send it to you. So by the way, anyway, let's you get a paper and either you read, I recommend at least read 5 papers and more better. Even if you are spending a lot of time and you spend 2 years so far to learn analytics, so you are in a good level to even target a publication. So let's say there's a paper that I'm interested and I have time to read all of it. That's really good. Sometimes maybe you find 40 papers and you really want to look at them, and or sometimes you get a paper that has a new methodology that you are not aware of. That sometimes you cannot understand what they did, but for you, you want to you look at the gap, what they missed or what they proposed for the future study, and do it. So in those last 2 cases, you can read the abstract and conclusion or results, usually the last part. So with abstract and conclusion, you can get a summary of what they did, what was their contributions. For future work, sometimes in the future work, they mention about the gap, what is left over for you guys. On top of that, in the introduction, you can understand a glimpse about what they did, what was the gap that they tried to cover, and what is left for them to investigate in this paper. So by abstract, conclusion, and introduction, and also future work, you can spend less than, at most, 1 hour, usually half an hour, and read a paper. If you are interested and you think the paper is really good and you have enough knowledge, you can read whole of the paper. So, but you don't have to. So for literature review, you don't have to. So because the point of literature review is understanding what is the background knowledge, what other researchers did, and what is the gap that you want to cover. Having said that, so okay. And the last week of the November is due date for presentation. So you submit your report and also presentation. It's better to do it in class or through Zoom. So if there's a confusion or if I couldn't understand what you did, I can ask you, and you can take advantage of that. Otherwise, if you send me a video and I have a question later, how can I ask from you guys? So I recommend to do it either online or in class. But if you are in another part of the world that is very hard to you join us synchronously, or you have any unexpected issues, you can just do it, submit a video and I look at it. Hopefully there's no issues, and if there is, I can ask from you guys. Okay, so any questions so far about project? I give you a couple of minutes to read the updated syllabus. And if you have questions, you can either use your speaker or text me over Zoom, so I can understand your questions. By the way, in the previous session, I did similar thing, and they asked me some questions. So I guess that it might be your question too. So I already answered their questions in my presentation now. So it might be reason your questions probably is much less than the previous session. But anyway, just read through the syllabus and see if you can find any confusing point. Can I? Okay, for Humana project, I can accept that, but I'm not recommending. the reason I'm not recommending, let's say, I think a couple of you guys are already past some ranking in the competition. It would be some similar projects. So you would be judged by other people's work too. So yes, still you can do Humana, but if you're happy to do, but you have competitors. And for me, I can understand what different levels of submissions might be more challenging, but if it's a new data set that there's just you did that, probably there is no competition. And also keep in mind, for me, Humana project looks easier because at least some of you attended and you guys can share your ideas together. So I might be graded tougher because I assume that if it's more than one group did that, so I assume they can overlap each other work. And so it's not what I recommend, but you can submit the Humana computation. Okay, one more question. Okay, no, it wasn't a question.
Hello, Professor.
Okay, please ask one by one. Okay, what's your question? Go ahead.
Lady first.
Okay, very nice of you.
Thank you. I was wondering, do we have the due date for the resubmit for the proposal? I mean, you asked to we add the motivation and the introducing of the data.
You don't have to do that, but by the end of this week, you can add those options, those items, because at the end, I should see all of them. So you don't have to do that now. Maybe you can do it later, but if you still want to be considered the first submission, you can submit by the end of this week, by the end of Friday.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. So, okay, what was the gentleman question? Yes.
Hi, Professor. Just to let you know that I decided to make a team with Jiahui Xu instead of do the project on my own, but I forgot to delete my project proposal on the Moodle, just to let you know.
Do another submission and said that you changed your team.
Yeah, actually I changed it before the due date, but I forgot to delete my own project proposal.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Good. Okay, your friend didn't come. One of your friends came, asked her to sit in the class, but she left. So, any other questions? So if there's no question, let me show you from this class schedule. Oh, by the way, unfortunately, which I'm not very happy. I'm sad about that. And it was a poll and asked people about the A+. And I was one of supporters because I think sometimes you might have a difficult time, and with A+ you can compensate your GPA. But unfortunately, we don't have A+ this semester, which I'm very sad about that, but I need to follow the policies. So let me even update this syllabus later. So yeah, A+ is not anymore in whole of the clerk. Hopefully come back, but anyway, we don't have it for, at least for this semester, which I'm very sad about that. Because I believe sometimes people have a difficult time, but they might catch up later. But without A+, I mean, by the way, don't worry about your GPAs. Usually grad student GPA are really good, is enough good. So no worries if it's not A at the end. Usually more than 3.6 should be fine, either for industry or PhD. So, but it would be much nicer if you still had it. Okay, so next class. Okay, today was for group project development. Please use, if we find an extra time for today's session, maybe you can make private Zoom, talk with your friends about your project. Next session, I go for descriptive statistics and data visualizations, which you can use it for your next submission. And you can just Google it to add extra descriptive statistics method of visualizations. Next week, which I have more than about 1 week heads up, we do a Spark streaming, and I would go a little further. It might not be interesting for everyone. You might have from different backgrounds, and at the end, you may not work with a Spark streaming. Basically, streaming means you work with the stream of data. Again, stream means something continuous. So far, you learn how to work with the very large data sets. But your data sets could be not only be large, but updated second by second or millisecond by millisecond. So you get new data continuously, and you will learn how to analyze them. So some part of it would be over Databricks, so it could be common for everyone. But some parts I go over the local installation of Hadoop and Spark, which I already taught you how to do that, and some of you got bonus for it. So anyway, in the next class, next week, you learn how to make a Twitter API, how to connect to the twitter.com, get tweets in the stream, and how to analyze them through a local installation of Spark. Having said that, today I will post another video asynchronously. So to tell you what you do, I just want to tell you to install everything in advance, like Hadoop, Spark, Anaconda, Python, and the packages should be updated. And also search for a hashtag, or just find an interesting hashtag. For example, right now, we are in the election, and one of the interesting topics is about how could win the election, or people's idea about the candidate. So one hashtag could be just election, hashtag election, and you can see Twitter. And basically, hashtags means topics that people are talking about, that are usually viral topics. Even you are not interested in politics, maybe for you some sports like soccer, football, they might have different interpretation, different part of the words. Guitar or other instruments might be interested. So you just pick one for the next class, and we get tweets, which is created at the moment from twitter.com, and we do some analysis for that. Again, it's even that video is off topic a little bit. You need to have some Python knowledge. You might basically have how to define a function, what does object means, and those kind of concepts. So again, I don't expect you to remember how to make Python function. That's actually easy one. But even for you guys that don't have that much of background, or you forgot advanced topic in Python, you still can play with that. It's really a cool experiment. So how to analyze tweets and understanding what people are talking about over Twitter. So I still, for whom doesn't have a background, might be interested, and you are able to do that. But no worries if it looks challenging. It's actually one step further for people who might be interested to do some text mining or those kind of experiments. So for that reason, I'm going to make another video, a small video, teach you how to make a Twitter API and how to work with the Python file that I'm going to post. And next week we start to do that experiment. Hopefully by next Monday, you already have the local installation of Hadoop and Spark, and find a topic or hashtag that you want to do investigations. So by the way, find a hashtag or topic that is trending. If you find something very weird, maybe you cannot find even one tweet, so you cannot do any analysis. Some trending hashtag right now could be about COVID, about even football. There's a football season now in the US, American football, or election, whatever. So, or it's like fall season or Massachusetts. You might find some related topics. So yeah, after that we do some natural language processing. So you learn how to get a stream of data, then you can do natural language processing on top of that. And also, the last teaching topic is about the data import and export. So there is some Hadoop technologies on top of Hadoop core that you can use for sending and receiving data. We covered it in that session because I assume it was not necessary for your project and for understanding the concept. So I put it the last topic. And yeah, final project last week, and also after presentation, you have like a couple of, you can submit by 23rd, but you have, after presentation, you still have a couple of days to submit your final project. Any questions? Oh, but by the way, about literature, don't worry. I mean, reading 40 papers is scary, but if you look at Google Scholar, in my last paper, I think I reviewed more than 100 papers, but I spent a lot of time. I didn't do it in one semester, and we were in the group of people, and every us did some papers. So do more papers, it's better, but again, 5 for group of 2, which is minimum, and minimum for group of 3 and 4 is 10 papers. So after this short lectures kind of thing, I'm going to make a asynchronous video about the Spark streaming and how to do it using Twitter platform. But I'm going to attach that video to the end of this video. So if later you try to find that video, it's not a separate video, which I just connect the project video which I made now with that together. So for people who would watch asynchronously, they just see one video, one long video that cover both. I think there's more question. Yeah, you can do by your own. You don't have to be in group of 2 or 3 or 4. So you can do it individually too. Any questions? I think we still have at least 30 minutes left. You can just make private Zooms if you're in the groups. Question about the last sandwich I sent.
Oh, Professor, I got a question.
Okay, so yeah, I think I know your email. So let me get back to my office and answer it. Thanks,
Professor.
Yes.
I got a question. Can we make team with a student from other class? Maybe she's from section 01. I'm from section 02.
Yes, different sections of my classes, right?
Yeah, the same class.
Yes. You can,
okay.
But also put in your submission, because it's very hard for me to see suddenly. I would be scared if I don't see any submission for someone. So just
Okay.
say this person is from that session, different sessions. That's fine.
So all the members should submit the summation, the same summation, right?
Just one submission is enough.
Okay. Got it.
If you are a team of 4, you don't have to do 4 submissions. Just one submission is fine.
Okay. Yeah, because we're from the different class.
Yeah, that's very fine. But not from other courses or other departments.
Yeah, sure.
So also, it's very good if you remind me. I miss some of the emails. Sometimes they go to my junk folder. I'm not sure why. And sometimes we have overwhelmingly stream of emails, which is like last 2 weeks we had some submissions. So it was so many emails. I appreciate if you remind me if I miss an email. I don't want to, it happens, but sometimes it happens, especially this course. Unfortunately, I have to do many parts by myself. For your visualization class, I have really good TAs because they had the course, but also TA-wise, they don't have any authority over your grades. Even they cannot see what you submit. They are just for helping because they are in the, same class with you. So they cannot see any information of you. They cannot see your submission, nothing. They just have office hours for helping. Any questions? Okay, if there's no question, that's for today. And please keep posted with the next video that I'm going to attach to the end of this video. Thank you very much and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. In this video, I teach you some basics for next class that we are going to do Twitter analysis using Spark environment. First of all, you need to make a Twitter API, and then through that API, you get some information that we use in our Python script. So first of all, go to apps.twitter.com. So it asks you to log in. If you don't have any Twitter account, you should create a Twitter account. After that, when you click on apps.twitter.com, you get to this page that you sign in with your credentials. Now I'm inside the Twitter app environment. This is for developers. So on the right side, there's an icon, create an app. Just click on it. Put a unique name. Let me just put like class experiment. Then you need to provide a required description. Let me just put something. This is app for learning Spark. Let's say PySpark. True PySpark and Spark streaming that we have in our big data computing class. Okay. For the website URL, you can basically put anything. That's okay. So let me put www.clarku.edu. You can put google.com too. That's totally fine. The rest you can leave it as empty. And there's another required part that said this field is only visible for Twitter employees. Help us to understand how your app will be used. Will it enable you and your customer to do? Okay. Use teaching purposes, students access to the stream of tweets and get the viral tweets and analyze them by each. Okay, that's it. And now it's created. It's okay. Now I just create an app. So now go to key and tokens. These are, first of all, for privacy issues, don't share it with someone. And after teaching through this video, I'm going to delete this app. So for me, security is not a big thing now. But for security purposes, you should keep for yourself and don't share it with anyone else. Okay, so I provided one Python file. That Python file has the information that is required to connecting to the app. I think the file name is fetchtweet.py. So in the API key, just copy and paste this information. Also for access secret key, copy and paste it in the API secret. Also, clicking on generate, you generate access token secret. You should copy and paste now. Otherwise, when you close it, you don't have access. So let me copy, paste here, copy, paste here. Because now, you know, there are other formats. So I don't have access anymore. So in your Python file, there's another section that you provide your interesting hashtags or the topic. Here I put soccer, so you can put any other names that you want, like maybe election or Massachusetts or COVID-19, maybe. COVID-19. So just pick the hashtags that are trending. If you pick a hashtag that is not trending, you don't get enough tweets for that. So the tweets that you get based on the hashtag that you provide in here. So for the next class, just try to find topics that are more interesting for you. Right now, I guess we are almost at the end of 2020, so maybe COVID-19 election are trending topics. Also, the port name here is 5555. It depends, you can change it to any other 4-digit numbers, but keep in mind, every time that you run the code later, your port might be closed or won't be released. So next time that you use this code, maybe you need to change the code. So the port number. So the port number, the hashtag that you want to check, and also API information, access information. These are the things that you need to provide for the next class. Also, install TweetPy too. So you might need to install that library because by default it's not installed. So as I mentioned, just over Anaconda or command prompt, install these 3 libraries. The first one is TweePy that you see here. So pip3 install TweePy. Then after TweePy, pip3 install matplotlib. And after that, the last library that you install is Seaborn. So pip3 install Seaborn. So you need to install them one by one. So the first library is pip3 install TweePy. The next one, pip3 install matplotlib. The last one, pip3 install Seaborn. Okay, since I think I already installed, so for me it got much. It happened much more faster. But if you haven't installed it, it might take a little bit more time for you guys. On top of that, sometimes you can install it through Anaconda if it doesn't work well in command prompts. So just open your Anaconda. It might take a little bit. Okay, so for Anaconda, check if you see. Go to environment, base root, click on here, open terminal. And you can also install it from Anaconda too, like pip3 install matplotlib. Or pip3 install TweePy. And pip3 install Seaborn. So matplotlib and Seaborn are for mostly visualizations. So okay, so the last thing is you need to download and put a font into your Python library. But let me show you the thing here. Okay, I also gave you a font download notebook. So just come here. Here, it shows you the link to your matplotlib address. So just run the first block, and this is, it would print this address for you. This is the address that I have matplotlib library in it. And under matplotlib, go to npl-data, and you can, in that place, just go to fonts folder, and then go to TTTF. Inside the TTF folder, just copy the fonts that I provided in your model. So anyway, the font is already in my desktop. So the name is Simhai. Right click, copy. So as you see, this is the folder, MPL data fonts. So matplotlib MPL-data fonts /DTF. Right click, paste here. Okay, that's it for now. So you need to few things. First, make a Twitter API. Then put the credentials inside the fetch tweet.py, and also find the matplotlib folder in your system, download the font and copy into that folder. Okay, so this is for next week. Hopefully by next week also you can make the local installation of Hadoop and Spark on your system, so you can run that experiment over your system. Thank you very much and see you next week.